All right, let's go out to Denise in Raleigh. What's up, Denise?
Hey, Dr. John. Thank you so much for taking my call today.
Of course. How we doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I mean, it'd be hard-pressed to be better, but that's cool. What's up?
That's awesome. Okay, so I have a little bit of a what would you do or what should I do kind of question for you. I have been in martial arts for probably about 12 years now with a particular black belt at a jiu-jitsu gym for the past 6. I found out recently that he was investigated for sex acts with a minor. The police department involved felt that they had enough to make a case, but the parents opted not to press charges to prevent a public hearing that involved their daughter. I was not aware of it when it happened. This all happened, I guess, a year ago, but I found out recently. I teach a women's self-defense course at this gym, and I don't know if I can continue doing that now that I know things that I can't unknow about this individual who owns and runs this place.
Have you talked to him directly?
I am in a little bit of a tough situation there because I was told by someone else who left the gym about 6 months ago. I stumbled across them on social media and they left over this issue. I didn't want to get into he said this about you, so I left kind of situation. I verified it with the chief of police in our cities, like the local police department that did the investigation. And they also said that, the police chief said this is being told in confidence because the case was closed without charges, but yes, it's true. So I can't go to him and say that, people who aren't supposed to be saying this about you told this to me. But I did tell him that I was told by people who work in local law enforcement recently that their personal opinion was that women were not safe at this particular gym, which is true. They did say that, and it was a personal opinion, not a professional opinion. Mm-hmm. And that until I understood why they would say that about our gym, I was not going to continue teaching the women's class or encouraging women to train there.
What was his response? By the way, hell yeah, good for you. I'm proud of you for that. That was a hard conversation, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I kind of wanted to throw up after I got off the phone.
Well, I'm proud of you. Good for you. How was that conversation received?
He went into some other things. I guess he had an affair with a different woman at some other point in his life and said that he thought that was why they said that about him and that he never presumed to be a perfect person. And I was like, no, we all know that about you. We know you're not a perfect person, but you and your wife were separated and then you ended up getting back together and moving on, whatever. This is something completely different. And it's local, like it's recent. And he was like, oh, well, I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, I'd walk away.
He just fudged on it.
Yeah. I'd walk away. And the gym I was a part of, I was not a part of it for 12 years. I was a part of it, several years.
Well, I've only been at this one for 6, but yeah.
Not 6.
Been long enough.
But I'm telling you, I understand that I'm asking you to leave your family.
Yeah.
Like it's where you spend your time. It's where you've had great accomplishments. It's where you've overcome failure. It's where you've been hurt and had people rally around you. It's a tall order to walk away. But I am not going to put my name next to somebody that is a knowing sexual predator, especially with children, with a period at the end. And I was going to say, especially if I'm inviting women into this space, taking their money that's going to pay for this dude's rent.
I know, right?
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I couldn't in good conscience do that, but I couldn't take 15 men and bring them in there and make that guy one penny richer with, I'd walk away, and I hate that.
There's no way to guarantee that he wouldn't do it again. Right. And it was with a young girl at the gym too, so it just made it all the more kind of in my face. It's like, wow, I can't do this because what if he does it again with one of the women that you invite here?
Yeah, and you know as well as I do. I hope this doesn't sound bad to the audience who hasn't been a part of these gyms, but there's never layers. I mean, there's always layers. There's never levels to sexual assault, but I particularly find when martial arts instructors are groomers, and it's rare, so I don't want you to think this is a thing. Like can't wait till my daughter goes and does martial arts, so it's not that at all. But there is a power hierarchy there and a power dynamic and a respect dynamic that's such an integral part of the class that doesn't exist in so many other social spaces that the violation is so deep and egregious.
Yeah, that was
You know what I mean?
basically when I walked away from the police chief's conversation. I was like, wow, this is not okay, because that's exactly what he did.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're my sister, I would tell you to never walk back in that gym again.
Okay.
And
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I told him I was at least taking a break and possibly never coming back. And he texted me today asking if I could cover the next 2 weeks of women's classes.
Of course he did.
Jeez Louise, I thought we had a conversation about this.
Yeah, he doesn't give a crap what you think.
Yeah.
You're just one of the women that makes him money. I'm gonna walk you through how I thought through this, okay?
Sure.
Because I also have been doing sexual assault investigations for most of my career, and I understand there's two sides to every story, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you have worked with him side by side for 6 years, you have had a mentor-mentee relationship, you've been through a marriage breakup, you now are an employee, and he didn't have the honor and dignity of either telling you, yeah, I really screwed up, or, hey, this story is going out there about me and it's not true. And here's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, he said, I think you're stupid and I'm just going to play dumb. So if he had called you and said, hey, listen, this story is going on about me that I hooked up with a minor, it is not true. It's just simply not. You're in North Carolina. The consent age is insanely low there. Like this is what this is. That's I won't respect what he did.
He manipulated the consent age intentionally. He had known the girl since she was 14 and he waited till she was 16.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So in his mind, I didn't commit a crime. I did exactly what the law said, and cool. That what I was looked for there is his integrity to have a conversation with you. He didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and by the way, I don't care what that law is. I'm not going to hang out with grown men who sleep with 16-year-olds. I'm just not. I don't want those people in my life. I'm not going to learn from those people. I'm not going to go have drinks with those people. I don't care what the law is. It's disgusting. It's disturbing.
Can I ask a secondary question?
Sure.
That adds a little bit of a complicating layer to this. I just want to know how to navigate the second part of this, which is my career is that I teach horseback riding lessons, and his daughter has taken lessons from me for the past 6 years, ever since we met each other at the gym. And he was like, oh, you do horses? My kid loves horses. Can she ride with you? And just wondering how to navigate that moving forward. Because
he's a grown man. He gets to make his choices.
Okay.
If he chooses to pull his daughter out, then he chooses to pull his daughter out.
Well, that's just it. He's not. And I don't think that she deserves to have her life blown up over. She can't help that he's a dirtbag. So. Yeah.
And if
as long as it's not some sort of, you don't see any kind of red flag with just continuing that part, I was going to just continue to teach.
I mean,
her kid out here.
That's up to you, unless you simply don't want this man in your presence.
Well, he's not usually the one who drops her off and picks her up. It's usually the mom.
Yeah, that's up to you. I mean, that's I wouldn't lose sleep over that. That's up to you. Your relationship in that scenario is with the kid, right? If he was coming out for horseback riding lessons, I might say, I probably don't want you out here anymore.
Yeah.
But this one's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I'll say this. Every case is different. Every case has twists and turns. My guess is, given the North Carolina consent age, and I think, is it 16?
Yeah.
16? God, that's insane. Mm-hmm. It's insane. Yeah. I mean, golly, dude, that just blows my mind. I need to take a second. If the consent age is I forgot even what I was going to say. Oh, crap, Denise. I got all fired up. Don't be sorry. That's on me. I can't wrap my head around the fact that it's 16. Yeah, I lost it. So there you go. That's how good I am at this job. I'm amazing.
You're great. I enjoy listening to you, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get your advice on this, because it's been a lot.
Your values always are going to cost you something.
Oh man, isn't that the truth?
Yeah. And walking away is going to cost you professionally. It's going to cost you financially. He may blackball you at another gym. It's just going to cost you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hang out with dudes who groom 14-year-olds until they become 16-year-olds.
Do you think I have any kind of obligation to try to explain this to any of the women there, since I've been asked to keep some of it in confidence by...
I wouldn't participate in that.
Okay.
I have a personal philosophy. I don't answer questions unless directly asked. And in this situation, I'd probably say I've chosen to not be around him.
Okay.
And let that be. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. My guess is the consent age was 16. And the police officers told his family or her family, we can drag through this whole thing. And at the end of the day, we think he's going to walk.
Yeah, the police chief indicated that they thought they had enough to put him in jail and get him on a sex offender list, but they opted. I think they just didn't want. The police chief said the parents didn't want the trauma of a public hearing for their daughter.
I get that.
But maybe he was going to walk anyway. I'm just saying. I only know what I'm being told.
They may, man. They think they're avoiding trauma by keeping this whole thing quiet, and I can tell you, there will come a day when this little girl looks at mom and dad and says, "Why didn't you protect me from that guy? Why is he still out there?" That's a mess. I'm sorry, Denise. Thank you so much for thinking through this with me and being brave. And for everybody listening, I hope you can hear. I tried to paint a picture here. Here's why I would make the decision the way I made it. I'm not a fan of grenade throwing. I am a fan of getting direct information. And when something happens like this, I'm a fan of calling somebody very directly and asking some very poignant questions, and how they respond and how they treat me with dignity and respect, how they tell the truth, how they avoid it, whatever. That plays a huge role in whether I'm going to ride with you to the end of this thing, or I'm going to say, okay, but your behavior is telling me you don't want me here because you're lying to me, you're not being honest. I'm going to walk away. And remember, at the end of the day, a lie at its core is one person looking to another and saying, I think you're stupider than me. And I think I can withhold what actually happened. I can withhold truth, and you will never know. I'm just not into people calling me stupid. It happens a lot in this job, but I don't love it. That's it, man. Thank you so much for the call, Denise. Let me know how it all goes. We'll be rooting for you.